All right, brag aside that we're going to have the best flag emotes in AoE4, which I do guarantee. Let's move on to what's becoming the best play all 16, because no one does play all 16s. It's Anatan versus Poppypool. We're now into game 15. Anatan getting a little bit close to home here with the Rus for the Belarusian. On the other side, Poppypool. I mean, he already proved that he's the ruler of the Roman Empire, the Byzantines. Time for the next iteration of the Roman Empire. It's HRE time, baby. It's time to decide which one is truly OP. The answer is Rus. Once again, Rus. Wait. Oh, come on. I mean, the issue here is like Anatan has to drop the hunting cabin straight away. It's just unfortunate he couldn't have walked over here. That would have been a jackpot. He's getting what? Probably going to be 18 gold here. He would have got 36 for that, at least. Interesting spawns for both players as well. They both got really tight clustered woodlines. HRE could use this well, actually. What? That's kind of a juicy spawn. It's unfortunate he put the house here, because I think Arkan here would have been perfect, because then you would have buffed both tree lines, which is kind of nuts. So, yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things, like Poppypool, because he wants to be optimal on his house timing walking out. Like, I actually think it would have been worth waiting and building a house here, because if you drop an Arkan here, you have this beautiful situation where, I mean, what did we say, like, wood-wise? How much is there on a tree line? It's like, that's what? About 1,500? I reckon there's like 7,000, 7,500 wood on a tree cluster. So doubling the amount you buff there is insane. Forward Arkan is deaf. That's not insanely forward Arkan, though. Like, you're forward Arkaning where you can just palisade the gold. That's not bad. Right? Like, if your warrior is still forward Arkaning, you're going to outpost drop here probably anyway, either way, right? So I don't think it's a negative. And there's nowhere else. Like, where else? Like, okay, be honest. Where else would you really want to Arkan in this game? Here? Why? I mean, I guess you buff berries, but... Wood's king. Wherever you're going fast castle, where you want to build farms, wood is king. If you're playing long feudal, where you want to mass archers, which is how you want to play this, by the way, feudal is king. And if feudal is king, and wood is king, Arkan here equal S tier. Other side, Anatan, let's talk about what he's going to be doing. It should be a standard, what, 2TC build? I think you get away with it pretty easily. Oh, wait, no. We've got Golden Gate. And I've got a big smile on my face. So why Golden Gate over Kremlin? You could get away with Kremlin. I actually think you could. The issue, however, is if you do Kremlin and you go 2TC, you're going to be exposed, right? Because you're going to have to Kremlin drop here, and then you have to TC drop here. And that means HRE can just siege you down, right? With a feudal all in. This matchup is very different now, by the way. Historically, this is incredibly Rus bias. The reason is that HRE always fast castled. So what Rus would do is they go 2TC Kremlin, and then they would walk villages out to palisade off the relics, which is very cost efficient considering you pay the same that you would for a normal palisade, but you build it quicker than normal palisade. Yes, you heard that correctly. Don't ask me why, but it takes you 3 seconds to build fortified palisades, but 4 seconds to build normal palisades. And because you're playing a civ that gets 20% more wood, you can afford it as well. But yeah, this to me, I think this might be fast castle. Fast castle, and then he just tries to race towards relics. We've got 12 sheep on one side, 5 on the other. I mean, this is a feudal all-in. It's going to be a really bad feudal all-in. Oh, that's kind of sick. I like that. Poppypool. He went for a pretty loose Arkan. This would be dangerous if you thought your opponent was playing feudal. But because he went Golden Gate, you're assuming it's fast castle, right? So you can afford to be a bit more greedy yourself. So this is going to give him the woodline, the gold buff. It's going to give him the deer being buffed initially as well. There's a lot of positives about this placement. And he's got the wall ups as well to guarantee there's no flank attacks. So that strips flexibility, because like I think Anatan should realistically be going for like at least one knight here to put some pressure on. Stone Gathering coming in. So Anno. Oh, he's going TC. Oh, that's kind of sick. You don't see this build anymore. Remember, 2TC Golden Gate used to be the way because of how much you got from the exchanges, right? But they nerfed the numbers for a different method. TCs used to cost less stone. So when they made that change, adding 50 stone in, they actually nerfed Rus harder than practically any civ in the game. Because you couldn't get that optimal timing with just a double ticket exchange anymore. You had to get extra stone. That's a cool read, man. And now he's moving out onto the deer location, but crafty Poppypool already there looking to body block. He won't be able to body block this long, but he should be able to delay it by like an extra 15 seconds, maybe. At least if Anatan wants the optimal placement, that is. Ooh, I know, cheeky. Actually goes left side. I mean, Poppy Paw did take away the best location. Like, this would have been perfect because you would have got all the deer nearby and the gold next to it as well. Remember being pulled? Anno's on top of it, man. In fairness, actually, if that boar had been pulled, it would have been GG. Because, like, the cancel on the TC, the delay against HRE like this, when they're going 2TC, you'd be a mile behind. Yes, you heard me correctly. Poppy Paw turned this into a 2TC build. Small moves also coming through to just limit options, outpost follow-up. So 2TC fast castle, 2TC fast castle, right? Firm handshakes. I hit fast forward, but we are literally live right now, so we can't get any closer. Yeah, HRE 2TC. With this spawn, it makes a lot of sense. I actually don't mind it here. You could rush Castle Age, but I think, you know, the issue you have there is the Rus can build Feudal Age Knights to intercept you. So you're still vulnerable. And all the while, they're building more villages. This is kind of cool because there's a lot of value around the Arkan area. So, like, even 2TC is 2TC is going to get buffed hard. Another cool thing here is you can now more freely prep Prelates ahead of Castle Age without feeling like you missed out. How are we looking on bounty, actually? We never checked that. It is a live game, so we can quickly just glance this. 365? There's a perfect sponsor there for that, isn't there? 365 bounty is pretty damn good, actually. Really impressive haul. One thing I don't like is the fact that Wheelbarrow came in so late. So, like, he killed the boar, right? But even before that, he was at 290 bounty. So that's a bit surprising to me, but this is the weird part about, like, Kremlin versus Golden Gate. When you do Kremlin, you're definitely going to be fine to get Wheelbarrow ahead of time. But because he went Golden Gate, remember that he's spending gold to get stone. That's what makes this build feel weird, and actually makes it kind of suboptimal for the timing there. Like, the Wheelbarrow not being there made that a very slow pull. Poppy Paw now winning the race towards Castle. Looking at the spawns as well, one relic safe as can be, the others are being walled in. So this is what I was talking about. This is what gives Rus an insane win rate against HRE. Because when you fast castles HRE, what are you building, right? You're building Knights. Knights cannot burn through. They suck. So all of a sudden you have this awkward situation where you can't grab relics for like the first 3 minutes of castle. And it's happening in multiple locations right now. In fact, he should be doing this with all the neutral relics. There should be only one relic Poppy Paw is able to grab. And yeah, Arkan is... Oh... That's because he wanted the stone, right? I think he could have went one tile down and buffed the stone on the corner and still buff the gold. That's unfortunate. I mean, it's why I was hoping he was originally going to do that Arkan. You get the wood, you get flexibility. Because I feel like you could have played this probably feudal all-in. It's kind of sexy, actually. The idea of feudal all-in with Ram rushing the second TC. Like, I don't think Rus can contest that. But I guess he just wanted to play it safer here. Rax now getting added in. Regnit's on the way. Rax is the correct choice. If you went for Knights here, you're just going to lose the game. And that is a long, long wall. Once again, want to remind people... For some reason, these walls build quicker than these walls. I don't know, I guess like painting them pink is more expensive back in these days. But yeah, it's kind of insane. I don't know why Rus has that to this day. They don't pay more, they build quicker. I think it's because, if I remember correctly, there was a time where fortified palisades cost more and then they took it away. But when they originally made that change where fortified palisades cost more, they... increase the build speed. It's so weird. I trade house on the way. Ooh, I can't help but feel he griefed himself with that wooden fortress placement. It's still going to be a decent one, actually. Like, get your numbers in now, guys. Let me know what you think it's going to be. I think you follow this up with like a hunting cabin here anyway, and you can get insane amounts of gold late game. Here as well, like, there's a lot of good things about this spawn. The amount of tree lines on one screen is out of this world. Spimmer now arriving to burn through. Really just cost-efficient cannon fodder, right? He just needs a quick in. I really like this play. It's funny because Anathan, yeah, he's going archers. He could have been prepping this ahead of time, and Poppy Paw's game would already be over. Because, like, if you fail this initial play, Anatan will just take the relics away from you. And you already see what I'm talking about with the power of the Palisade Walls, right? Like, a normal Palisade Wall is almost on fire at the stage. 4-5 Palisade is not even close. First Magnus Relic has been dropped in safely. 2 of these relics should be easily grabbable for Anno, so really the contest is on the southern ones. If this turns into a 4-1 split for Rus, HRE are a huge disadvantage here. 2TC does at least make it more spicy, but, you know. Can you play a good castle here is what I'm wondering. My instinct is no. I feel like Rus just wins castle here. So you're probably aiming for Imp. But then if you get Imp, you're letting Rus get towards things like Streltsy and just siege dominance, right? So I think Puppy just has to find a way of threading the needle now. Archer veterancy coming through. Men-at-Arms switch up is on the way. Now, we have to double check these relics because sometimes you can actually grab them through the walls. It looks like Anatan is a good boy, though. He's done his practice. He left enough spacing here. Little tip to people, if you build these walls too close to the relics, prelates, or any monk rather, will lean in and grab them. I've seen it multiple times. We literally had it in a game that featured, I think, Anatan before, when me and Myriad were casting. Usually that happens because people are greedy, because like some people try to do the triangles instead of the squares, and when you do triangles, you get this kind of no-clip overlap sort of thing. Archers, just cleaning up right now. Knights have been queued up. In the meantime, Warrior Monks are on the way. We are seeing Raxes added in as well. This is very greedy what Anatan's doing. He needs to spend food. Wait, is he fast imping? That is wild, if so. He's got 32 people on gold. No, okay, he's just rebalancing eco, thank God. I was about to say, you could not fast imp here. You just don't have enough food on the map to justify it. There's no value waiting for you on an immediate imp. Look, coming in, sick body blocks. Puppy paw. Oh my God. That was so cheeky. Anatan started pushing the Warrior Monk. I don't think he intended to do it, but you saw that, right? The circle moved. I swear, one of these days, someone's going to get caught out by that with men-at-arms. I love the fact that the Warrior Monk comes back. Crossbows have now arrived. Puppy Paw has a big problem. Not only is he relic behind, but his comp is bad. Spearman Knights versus, what, Archer Crossbows? That's good enough. Just a few men-at-arms to frontline as well. I mean, this is very, very one-sided right now. Puppy Paw has to rush Imp. And this, one and all, is exactly why Rus is very heavily favored in the HRE matchup. It's all about walling the relics. It doesn't matter which way you try to play this. 2TC, all in. Like, you know, I think the only way HRE feels good here is if they go full feudal. I think that might have been his best hopes, especially against Golden Gate build. Like, Kremlin's much harder to dent. Golden Gate is really greedy. I think Anatan just got away with something he probably shouldn't have. Puppy Paw's now going to try to recover it later in the game. Pass the Swabber on the way. Now, if Anatan doesn't get a fight in like the next 20 seconds, it should be quite obvious what's happening. Unfortunately, in 20 seconds, Palace of Swabber is basically going to be complete. More relics now being grabbed. One criticism I might give Anno here is like you're playing a Civ that can very easily build into additional scouts, and he didn't replace them. I don't like the fact he's playing a blind game here. You should be seeing what your opponent is doing, because you could have been marching this army across towards the enemy base already. Now, one big deal here is Puppy Paw is going past the Swabia, but a lot of food is exposed, right? The deer is definitely not safe, even with an outpost here. The berry patch is on the edge of the tree, of the wood line, where the palisades are, so like you're going to get sniped over the wall. He has got a decent number of farms, but 16 isn't going to be enough to carry you, and the 8 stack of berries at the back isn't going to break the bank either. Weirdly enough, though, Anna's backing up. Okay, so we've got Imp Rush here, right? Kind of unexpected. Usually when you see your opponent goes for like a tech up, you look to punish them a bit, but the thing that I want people to be really conscious of here is this particular Civ is so hard to punish. How many of you had that situation where you tried to full send it on an HRE Imp player, and they get one in cannon emplacement, you lose your entire army and you lose the game. Right? I think that's the fear factor in Anna's mind. So he's being a little bit more tempered about his approach here. He might try to probe, he might try to starve, but what he doesn't want to do is send himself right into the enemy base, knowing there's no way you can burn down buildings, and there's every chance that a cannon emplacement's on the way. Interesting. Poppy Paw playing poor man's HRE here. We've got Spirals coming. House of Swabi is going to get garrisoned. And Nano can't dive there at all. Stable's being prepped in the corner. I mean, Poppy Paw should be able to afford this as long as he has access to the deer. I think that's going to be critical. He has got fortifications coming in there, and I mean, this army has a decent amount of melee units. 10 of them should be good enough to torch it down, especially if he gets initial damage in before the fortifications come through. But that's exactly what he's going for. Upgrade about to trigger, but it's going to feel pretty worthless here. It looks like he actually cancels it. Smart choice. Just wouldn't have been worth the stone. So deer's been blocked. Army's trying to pick reinforcements, but Anatan isn't sending them right now. He's going for attack. Makes sense when you're sitting on almost 4,000 gold at this stage of the game. 3 sacred sites, even inflating the gold further. And the high trade house number, by the way, in the end, was 163. Some people were feeling ambitious with 200. Woo. I wish. Actually, no, I don't. Rus OP. Ram's now being built. Now, I feel like I've seen this against HRE players before, and I feel like every time I see it, it does nothing. E-repairs is a real thing, guys. It's a real bloody annoying thing. It might just be about breaking through the palisade walls. That would make a lot more sense. Because then you just run past the Palace of Swabia and try to hit this area. Or hit this area. Awesome, see a freebie. Okay, this is cheeky. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I know. I mean, this is actually not too bad of a trade, right? Like, killing 2 horsemen and losing a ram isn't terrible. Because remember, ram's 200 wood, horsemen, 2 of them are 240. It's going to be back in now. I mean, with 13 HP, it's just going to die. Does open the way. I don't think you dive in here if you're Anasand. I think you just focus on mid-map control and now get into premium units. Because, like, this is a very interesting matchup now. As long as you don't fall behind on Nico, but ooh, raid coming in. Villagers, yeah, just commit to the work at this stage. Like, you're going to lose a few of them, but you need to tech. Otherwise, you're just stalemating yourself with like 3,600 resources, right? So tech out complete, Streltsy immediately queued. This is where the game gets challenging for Poppy Paw. He needs to play flanks. Castles are going up to make that much more difficult. It's also a game where he does not have great gold. Right, he's got 1 relic in the Regnants. He's got a 4K safe in the back of his base, but the rest is in mid. So he needs to move fast. I think the best thing for Poppy Paw here would actually be a stone grab into a keep drop. If you keep drop this area, that's 8K gold. That's basically a big gold vein, which is usually what a player will drop a castle on. And you get the stone for an additional castle afterwards. Meantime, though, it looks like he's focused on breaking through. Spearmen are on the way. Unfortunately, the way he's moved this army, I mean, the men-at-arms have slowed this down just a little bit too much. Break through and break in. Poppy Paw needs to assault that economy. Reinforcements have arrived. Poppy Paw's going to try to break around, but running past these Strelts, he hurts. These are still only veteran horsemen, by the way. No elite stats coming in. Wrap around the back. I mean, he's looking for the underbelly, right? Like, there is textiles, which is going to make this a bit harder. I really wish this was elite horseman. Like, I actually think Poppy Paw had the right idea by spamming horseman. It's just his gold is a big sore issue. He's so busy getting every other tech upgrade, but to me, elite horse stats feels like the MVP here. Mainly because your opponent has a static army. I guess he does at least get some value out of this. Like, remember, the torch damage does get buffed, right? So elite stats wouldn't change that, but for sniping villages, it would have been substantially better. It might just be that Poppy Paw is trying to force a reaction into mass spears, which is working. And then you come over the top of elite men-at-arms. That is pretty crafty. But if Anatan doesn't read into this, I'll be surprised. Like, you're seeing vet horsemen this deep into his Imperial Age with this many. It just mathematically doesn't make sense. By the time your opponent has like 20 to 25 of these, elite status is worth it. So that's a blocker on the front side as well. A few Streltsy do go down in the meantime, but count is swelling up to 14. Mangoes are being prepped, but this is like an impossible matchup to do this in. Remember, you're playing against Rus. Rus have the Banded Arms of High Armory. That gives them more range than your Culverins. It means they can win siege battles. Chip damage is definitely adding up here. He's almost 40 eco ahead. Needs to be with that relic situation as well. High Armory is still sniping, High Trade House is still sniping onto the deer, so we're gradually getting towards that tier 3. I don't think we've had a hunting cabin spam yet. Would be valuable here. Dive coming in, possible. Brute forcing this is kind of expensive, right? Especially with half your army stuck on the wrong side of the wall. Oops. Anno might just repair. He's sitting on 610 stone. There we go. Pulls him out. Goes to the Regari. And that buys time. There we go. Movement in with the backstab coming through. Anatan looking to clear up that bombard. And the army's stuck on the wrong side again. Streltsy just milking it. Castle is low. Keep looking like it's going to flop here. Barely staying alive with just 100 HP. Villagers are going to die for it. Right now, you just need to kill the eco. Repairs keeping it up. Poppy Ball making sure he shuts down that castle. An important detail now. An area where he needs to replace it with the keep of zone, but considering the reinforcements have arrived, he'll just have to settle for the small victory. But it might lead to a big loss. Poppy Ball sitting on a lot of food and gold. It feels like the production is lacking here. At least that is just finally coming through for the Horsemen. But with 2k food in reserve, I'm starting to wonder if we've even got the... Yeah, no military academy. We had a game earlier where Puppy Paw actually kind of like set himself up for defeat. If you guys remember, like there was an Abbasid English game where Puppy Paw was missing all of his production advantage of the Abbasids because he didn't have military academy and he was just missing the Golden Age. This is kind of reminiscent of that. He's got so much resource bank, but no way of spending it. Like, you could build more production, but that's just not an optimal way of doing this now when you're talking about, like, 6 Raxes, 5 stables, right? It's much more cost-efficient to get that tech. Mango about to come out into a mess. Puppy Paw is in quite a sticky predicament here. This game should actually just be over now. I mean, the Streltsy mass has reached uncontrollable numbers. He's using your own choke points against you. Static redeployment, which means he doesn't even have to move, or static deployment rather. Mango does come out for a single wallop, but that's simply not going to be good enough. I think this game is over. Anatan making it even closer here, now with a 6 win on the board.